Okay, so for this, I'm going to just... I thought about it. I think it'd be more fun this way. I'm going to redo the stuff that I've done up until now with this guy. I'm going to change his name to Ibrahim to match these guys here. So this gentleman here, Astor, is basically going to be Ibrahim 2.0. There is one big difference that I made starting out this time around. And it's that I've managed to kill the Grafted Scion, and I got his weapons, the Ornamental Straight Sword and the Golden Beast field. The way that I did it was I basically just went into the battlefield, and whenever I got close to him, I just got ready to square off, and then when I was in the stance, any chance I got, I did the running... I mean, not the running, I did the, I basically just spammed... One moment, please. Terribly sorry about that. I ate some peanut M&Ms earlier, and some of the peanut got stuck in... some of the peanut was lodged in the back of my mouth, and it was rubbing against my trachea. Okay, so yeah, basically when I was playing the Grafted Scion, I just tried to get close to him, and then I was spamming this attack in his face. Hitting him enough times with it got him into a weakened state where I broke his guard, and I was able to get a critical hit on him. And over here, those nascent butterflies that are over by the edge of that cliff, that's bait. Basically, no matter what, you're guaranteed to die here. I just wanted to readjust that. To the one person watching this on Twitch, I bid you welcome. If you want to, leave a message and I should be able to see it on the chat bar.
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on his side. We found him here, after all. One of his kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
Well, she seems nice. So anyway, I am going to tackle the tutorial area, but the first thing I'm going to do is... I would recommend you do this just in case you get bored of the tutorial. Run up here first, open this door, and activate this brace. And with this gentleman, I named him Astor, but he's basically going to be Ibrahim 2.0. So As with any starting character, I gave myself 2 stone sword keys to start out with. Over there you get the finger, you got the gold finger and the finger severer, pretty good items. Break tarnish, take the plunge of learning and remembrance. Recall the arts of war and your warrior's blood. Yeah, so basically you take this down to this section here. The reason why I said to light the grace first is because if you're just like, you know what, I don't think I need to continue on with the tutorial area, then you can just teleport to the grace over here from the map. But I'm gonna go through this just because. Well, let's put on the full set of gear I have. So over here you're going to be finding some noblemen. I don't think the ones down here will drop anything upon death. I will have to try revisiting this place once I finish the tutorial check. And yeah, this basically just teaches you the main strategy for playing the game. This guy over here has a tower shield, but if you use square off, you can use square off, and from the stance, press right bumper to do a light attack, and that uppercut should be guaranteed to break his guard. I will try parrying. I'm not going to make any guarantees as far as my ability to do it properly, yeah, because these guys strike very slowly, so the that was a partial parry there. That was a full hit. You know what? Screw this. I suck at parrying, but honestly, guard counters make parrying kind of redundant in this game, especially if you start out as the Vagabond or the Confessor, because these classes both start with a shield that has perfect physical block. There we go. That's how you do a parry. Again, I suck at parrying, so I'm not going to be doing it too often. I'm mainly going to stick to using the guard counter. Big thing I want to do right now is try to see if I can get my dexterity high enough to use those twin swords, which I should be able to upon killing the decent amount of the enemy here. This noble will take significantly more damage than the other ones here. Probably to prepare you for the enemies in the normal game. Be wary of strong foe, therefore try fleeing. Yeah, if only this foe were that strong. This boss here is a soldier of Godric. This basically is your tutorial to try guard counters. Because even though I only have starting equipment, with a guard counter, I can easily kill him with a single counter. To do a guard counter, you just hold up your shield to guard, and upon guarding, or rather upon getting hit with an attack, perform a heavy attack with the right trigger, and that will perform a guard counter. You know if the guard counter goes correctly when you hear that clang sound effect. So this leads out of here, which is quite good. I'm going to remove my sword and I'm going to put on the halberd in its place, just because the halberd is a very good weapon for the early game. It's a large weapon, so it deals with gun capabilities. And over here we have Lingrave, and this charismatic gentleman is Varric. Before I chat with him, I'm going to run around this way. Rude, I know, but Vara is really just here to try and butter us up and get us to join his little blood cult. bats here. They're quite dangerous. Thankfully, the halberd can range. Makes it a bit easier to deal with these things. I'm moving around so sporadically. Oh, marvelous. That one took a bite out of me. That one dropped a shiny. Usually these bats will just drop a golden rune. Usually one that's low level for this area. One dropped a tier 2 rune, which is decent. You know what? Go long sword. Oh, that puts us as a heavy equip burden. Oh, the food's ready, so I'm gonna go eat and I'll be back in a moment. Sorry about that. I forgot that I had this on mute. So, yeah. I'm over here by the Dragon Burnt Ruins. So basically, the reason why I'm going this way is because I want to hug the lower portion of the lake bed until I reach a grace that's close to here. And while I was fighting the bats, I mentioned that one thing I would appreciate with this game is in order to change the weapons, you have to press and hold the triangle button on PlayStation or the Y button on Xbox to basically go into a sub-menu, and then you press one of the bumpers or one of the triggers to change the weapon as to which hand you want to hold it in. It would be nice if while you're doing that, it like put you in like a state of like freeze frame or like bullet time where the actions in the game freeze to a halt and you can easily do so without worrying all too much. And that may break the immersion a bit, but I feel that it can work as a means of balancing this, because sometimes when you're in the heat of combat and you want to change out a weapon, you could end up accidentally messing up the weapon you could accidentally mess up the action that you're trying to take and end up missing the weapon for something else. Okay, got some bolts from this guy. This is a pretty good area to farm Godric soldiers and the demi-human. I love how even though my guy Arcane is only at 7, he's still getting a decent drop rate of some of the items here. Granted though, the majority of the items were just consumables and literal garbage in the case of the demi-humans, but whatever. Out of everything from the demi-humans, I would recommend trying to get one of the curved swords that they drop. There is a curved sword that you can get after fighting the demi-humans called the Falchion, and there's another curved sword you can get in one of the dungeons that's called the Shamshir. The Shamshir is about as long as the Falchion, but it has the quicker moveset of the Scimitar. Might as well show where that is in a moment, but the first thing I want to do is I want to get this Grace, and now I want to go over to the first step and explore for realsies. So let's do that. Let's go over to the first step, and oh, right, here's the first step. Oh, I thought that was a coastal cave. I was like, wait, but I didn't go there. Did the map glitch? But no, the map is perfectly fine. Anyway, this charismatic mofo here is Vare.
Oh, yes. Tarnished, are we? Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring, hmm? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity. Luckily for you, however, there is one shining ray of hope for even the maidenless, me, Vare. Take care to listen. Are you familiar with grace? The golden light that gives life to you tarnished. You may also behold its golden rays, pointing in a particular direction at times. That is the guidance of grace, the path that a tarnished must travel. Indeed. Grace's guidance holds the answers. It will lead you tarnished to the path you are meant to follow, even if it leads you to your grave. Grace's guidance will to Castle Stormvale, over on the cliff, the home of the decrepit demigod, Godric the Grafted.
Okay. There's some more dialogue you can get with Vare. He basically just says, "Why are you standing here? You should be off to Castle Stormvale and claim yourself a great rune." So yeah, you can kill the sheep in this game to get some beast bones. Pretty good for crafting. The big thing I want to do right now is I want to make my way over to a cathedral over there. there is a man you can talk to, Kale. He sells throwing knives, and he also sells a crafting kit that you can use to build shit. Crafting kit is heavily recommended.
You're a tarnished. I can see it. And I can also see that you're not after my throat. Then why not purchase a little something? I am Kale, purveyor of fine goods.
So we can purchase stuff, we can chat with Kale, we can get a recommendation from him, so let's ask about him.
I am of a nomadic people,
Okay.
selling wares as I travel. The land has been tainted by madness since the shattering of the Elden Ring. It's only tarnished like yourself, who keep things from drying up entirely. Let's say you're a very welcome customer.
And what's got his recommendation?
You know, if you can spare the runes, you should buy yourself a crafting kit. A crafting kit allows you to make basic items on your own. Essential, really, if you intend to survive out here for any duration. The kit costs a bundle, and I admit I do take my cut. But the important thing is that you survive. Every customer counts, after all.
Indeed. So let's purchase that crafting kit. It only costs 300 runes. Also some cracked pots. I'm gonna get as many of these as I can. Oh, the dog wants to go upstairs. Yeah.
I'm glad you took my warning to heart. You've made an excellent choice.
Okay. All around the lands between, you'll find glowing skulls, and if you break them open, you can find some golden runes on them. Anyway. One thing I wanted to do is I want to try and make my way down to the coast. And now the Erd tree is shaking off a lot of its leaves, and when that happens, you get a slight buff to the amount of runes you get off of enemies. Very slight increase, but it's still an increase. Okay, I don't think I can survive a fall from here, but I can survive if I jump down onto this ruin. There's some birds here. Kill them, you can get flight pinions, and some of the other birds will also drop their legs, which you can use for crafting. So far I just got flight pinions. That's fine. There's another merchant here. This one is rather paranoid, but he sells some useful stuff.
What do you need? I don't want any trouble.
Mainly the club and the short bow. Gonna get all this soon enough.
Well,
Around here you'll find the coastal cave. Still can't use that. I was wondering if I could use the golden tempering to act as a temporary light source. Anyway, I just activated that graze so that I can use the cave to warp over here should I need to get anything from that merchant. There's some demi-humans here. They're not really all that dangerous. They're only really dangerous if you let them gang up on you. This one dropped shiny. It was a string. Around here, you're gonna find some land octopi. Try to hit them with as many He seriously just killed me. Nothing out of the world. There are weapons you can use to take them out. I would recommend using something with a decent amount of heft to it. So anyway, here's the entrance to the cave. I don't want to turn this guy into a faith boy. Okay, got a rune fragment. Don't get what I want there, but it's fine. The very good thing about the Vagabond, in my opinion, is your relatively high vigor and endurance. That way you can wear some relatively heavy armor with some good equipment. There we go, that's what I wanted to do. Try to break this enemy's guard. Hitting it enough times will basically chain stagger the enemy. There we go. Okay. Chain stagger her enough time, you can still go down. You'll get a decent amount of rings off the land octopus. Nothing insane, but pretty decent amount for this point in the game, all things considered. So, let's see. If I remove this and put this on, yeah, I'll still be at mid-load. There we go. The halbert's a good weapon for the early game. It's powerful. That's also one thing that I like about the Vagabond. The fact that you start out with what is basically a giant weapon. The halbert's in the great weapon class, so it's quite useful for that. There we go. Okay, flight pinions from them. More flight pinions. I would rather get the foul feet, but that's good for right now. There we go, four-toed foul foot. The reason why I want this is because I have a mod called the Elden Ring Save Manager, and with that you can add items into certain playthrough that a character is doing, but in order to add those items you need at least one copy of that item for it to work. At the very least, so now I have enough runes to get some stuff off of that merchant. So anyway, over here we have a Cadenite. Enough hits with square off, we'll be able to break his guard. And you can kill him and get some good items off of him. There's a little shimmering thing here, but that's not important. Try to kill it if you want. My advice for killing it would be to, oh, I forgot to get the Grace of the Church of Eli. That's fine. So, may have been in my best interest to get a... to get one of the cookbooks from Kale, but, whatever. Recommended to kill some of the sheep here so that you can get their bones. There's a pretty good location where you can farm for all this stuff coming up. Note that the Vagabond isn't the only class for this. You could also go with the Samurai. The reason why I want to go with the Vagabond, though, is because the Samurai's gear can be found in Wingrave and Caelid, where the Vagabond's gear, well, part of it can be found in Wingrave, but the armor can't be found until you reach the Altus Plateau.
Great. Well, you're back.
So let's purchase some shit. Some shit. Yes, let's purchase some shit from Vare. So let's see, big one I want to get. Do I already have the ability to make these? Well, whatever. I want to learn how to make those. And I wouldn't mind getting a torch.
Goodbye.
Go to item crafting. Yeah, I can already make this. I don't have enough mushrooms, though. Mushrooms are found all over the place. Just to look wherever you find vegetation, and you'll probably find a few mushrooms. I would recommend you make some fire pots to throw at enemies. The good thing about the cracked pots is that they're enchanted. So when you use them to make a bomb and you throw that grenade at an enemy, the pot will shatter. But upon shattering, the pot will basically reform and re-enter your inventory. So there are some Godric soldiers here. Let's take this path over. There are two dungeons over here. One is a cave and one is a... One is a cave and the other is a catacomb. This guy dropped something. Quartzworn bolts, those are good. They're basically stronger crossbow bolts. Not amazing, but good. Let's put the torch on my offhand so that I can use it to light up my path. Right now, I just want to get the map to Wingrave so that I can make my way over to the Weeping Peninsula. The reason why I got that grace over here at the Agio Lake South is because that grace, you see this little inlet here? That's a bridge and it takes you straight to the Weeping Peninsula. There's some good stuff there, including a magic rod if you want to use magic. I more so than anything want to stick to using incantations, which are this game's equivalent of prayers, but I may increase my intelligence by some amount just to try out some of the basic tier magic. Just to try out the starter magic like Glintstone Pebble and Glintstone Arc. Those are good if you want to snipe enemies from a distance. They're also good for breaking enemy guard. The only thing that sucks about the torch is that its ability is Torch Attack, where you basically just poke someone with the torch. It would have made so much more sense if its ability was the torch, or if the torch's main ability was just using the ability of the weapon in your main hand. More bolts, not what I wanted. Don't you fucking... Damn it. And now he alerted all the soldiers to my presence. Wonderful. Well, now all the Godric soldiers are coming after me. Take them out. The knight, though, is the main threat. Okay. Try to get as many of the weapons from these soldiers as you can. The weapons got them are quite good. Ow. Hate the hammer soldiers. When they use the hammer on you, it deals a ton of damage, both poise damage and physical damage. But when you use the hammer, it doesn't do any poise damage whatsoever. Biggest rip-off ever in this game, let me tell you. God damn it, he killed me. So on the negative hand, I'm going to have to respawn at the Stake America that's here, but on a good note, at the very least, that'll put me close to where my runes are. Keep my shield out so I can protect myself better. Let me make some daggers that I can throw at enemies. Oh, I forgot, over by where those soldiers are in the forest, there is also a body with some daggers. I should pick those up too. Those may come in handy. The main merchant in the Weeping Peninsula sells the daggers as a common drop, so don't worry about using them. They're right here by this soldier. The daggers are kukris and they're quite powerful. They're slow, but they hit hard and they cause bleed buildup, so I say use them. Please drop your sword. Ah, here we go. I just had to ask nicely. Lord Sworn Straight Sword is a very good weapon in my opinion. In fact, I'm going to dual wield it with the long sword just because. When it comes to weapon dual wield movesets, katanas and straight swords are both number 2, but curved swords are definitely number 1. I do like the dual wield straight sword moveset, especially since with the straight sword you can immediately go into square off when dual wielding, so you can immediately pull off crazy shit like this. And as you saw there with that gentleman, using the great shield that these soldiers drop as a weapon is honestly a pretty decent strategy. You can hit pretty damn hard with it, and it also has very good block and stability. Do not sleep on using shields as a weapon. And do not sleep on the great sword dual wield moveset. It's very good. You could potentially get the hammer that these soldiers drop, the war pick, the decent hammer, but it's honestly not the most powerful. There are better options. Some more bolts. Let's try to sneak up on the soldier here. The reason why I have this on my main hand as opposed to the long sword that the Vagabond starts out with is because this weapon, the Lord Sworn Straight Sword, has a critical attack modifier. So if you get a critical hit with it, you will get some extra damage in. So, and here's a powerful weapon. Lord Sworn Great Sword. I don't have enough strength to use it properly in one hand, but if I wield it in both hands, I'll have enough strength, which is good. There's a grace here, but I'm not going to stop here. I will try to see if I can take out the guard at a distance using my daggers to get his attention. But yeah, these carriages are a good spot to find weapons. Wherever there's a carriage, there's almost always a weapon hidden in its back chassis. The Lord Sworn Greatsword is a good weapon. It has Stamp Uppercut as its ability, which is much better than Stamp Sweep in my opinion, because with Stamp Uppercut you can launch enemies up into the air. Where with Stamp Sweep you just slash into them and stun them, but you don't quite do that much. You don't do as much stunning as you would by knocking them into the air. That box has the flail. The flail is always a good weapon. Damn it. Here I was trying to be all sneaky. thing that's dangerous about these knights as opposed to these soldiers, that the knight will spend the majority of their combat turtling behind that giant ass shield that they use. My advice for taking him out is wait for an opening, jump over him, and then do a jumping heavy attack. The range and momentum from that is enough to do quite a bit of damage. Especially when he does that counterattack. That is a golden opportunity to strike. You can get his gear, by all means try to. I wouldn't really care for doing so, but it works. And while there is a grace here, I'm not going to rest at it immediately. I'm going to try and take care of some of the Canaanites. The reason why I don't want to rest here is because upon resting there, the woman who was riding that horse, antelope creature, will chat with you, and she'll give you the horse to better traverse the area. So the reason why I like weapons like the halberd and the greatsword is because against enemies like these guys, you can stun the horse easily using something like the halberd. That's one thing that I like about the Vagabond. You start out with a giant weapon at onset, so you can easily just take some of these horsemen out with little issue. In fact, I think there should be another one up here somewhere. Yes, and if you're wondering why there's lightning striking, it's because there's a plant here called a Fulgur Bloom. You won't get the recipe that you use these for until you reach the Altus Plateau. But I would recommend you come here every now and then and try to harvest some, just to have some in your inventory. As the name suggests, they spark with electricity and they conduct lightning. So be careful when picking them, but usually if you're careful, the lightning will only hit you from a distance. Over here we have rams. They are much more aggressive than the other sheep. Thankfully though, the lightning will typically not hit directly. And I may or may not use a code editor to get myself weapons. If anyone watches this on YouTube, then I'll be sure to gauge whether or not I should do so from them. So anyway, over here you'll find a Canaanite, flanked by some Grey Wolves. The halberd is a good weapon against these guys, as it deals good damage and limits stun capabilities. Starting out with a great weapon is such a good option. But yeah, if I ever decide to add a weapon using a code editor, the one caveat I'll have is that I will only add in a weapon after I find a version of it in normal gameplay. And I'm only going to do this with the normal weapons that you acquire, not the special weapons that you need to kill bosses for. I hit hard. Ah, shit. Now I have two of them. Well, whatever. There's Steak America here, so worst case scenario, I could always try to respawn. This one is the one that I want to prioritize taking out. Let's go. Because the horse gets stunned easily. I'm going to switch to the greatsword. Thankfully, there's a Steak America here, so I can just respawn. And that's a good thing about the Steaks of America. They're found all over the place in, at the entrances to dungeons and in small encampments where there are usually powerful enemies with good weapons and items in them. Let's wait until this Canaanite gets close to us and then I'll just snipe him. Come on, get over here. I'll be completely blunt. I condone the use of code editors for getting items, especially in cases of the item being exceedingly rare, like how the majority of items in this game are. The majority of items in this game are disgustingly uncommon. So, like the weapons and armor you get from the Canaanites, yeah, you can easily farm them and get the gear with little hassle, but with some of the noblemen in this game, you have to kill dozens of them before you find anything useful. Will that hit? Yes, it will. Great. I want to take out all the, I want to take out the cavalry first. Mainly because the horses are easy enough to take out. I say as I get smashed in the face with a greatsword. Well, anyway, this is what I like about using Stamp Uppercut. You can usually launch the enemy up into the air, and if you can't launch them in the air, you will almost always stun them. So do not be afraid of using Stamp Uppercut. Okay, for now I'm gonna switch to my double straight swords, and once I get my stats high enough, I'm definitely going to use the ornamental swords. And this is why I like dual wielding straight swords. You can very easily get a good combo going, and it's much faster than using the katana. I mean, katanas make up for their relatively slow combo rate by having, or rather, the dual wield katana moveset makes up for its slow combo rate by being quite powerful and hefty when it comes to the poise damage. But, yeah. Anyway, I have this map here to Limgrave. That'll come in handy. I'm just gonna get this grace here, and then I'm going to go back. I'm gonna try to get to the Weeping Peninsula. Let's see if resting at this grace will get the woman to show up. The woman being Melina. That's her name. Grace is right down. The grace is right down here. This is a decent area to farm the Canaanites if you want to farm them. They're relatively common throughout Limgrave, so you should be able to farm them without much issue. So let's rest up here. She hasn't shown up. That's fine. Now Melina is guaranteed to show up at Agiel Lake North or the Gatefront. So I'll just go to Agiel Lake North and have her show up that way. Should also get my dexterity high enough to use this. My dexterity is at 13, and I literally just need one more point of dex to use this.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord. Have you heard of the Finger Maidens? They serve the Two Fingers, offering guidance and aid to the tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless. I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree. Then it's settled. Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. I bequeath to you this ring. Use it to traverse great distances. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect. Shall I turn your runes to strength? Let my hand rest upon you. For but a moment, share them with me. Your thoughts, your ambitions, the principles you would follow.
And there we go. So now I can use the Ornamental Straight Sword, and the good thing about this weapon is that it only weighs as much as a standard single straight sword, even though it's technically 2 straight swords. As you can see, its weight is 3.0. But it's a very good weapon. It's a natural dual-wield weapon, it deals good damage. And now I have the Spectral Steed Whistle. So what I recommend you do with the Spectral Steed Whistle is put it on your hotbar. I usually put it on the section that's for... I usually put it on the downward... I usually put it on the downward button for the fast, or rather for the toolbar. So that's good. Definitely leaves less clutter than putting it on the toolbar proper. But yeah. As for these runes, I'm gonna hold on to them. Whenever you find a tier 1 rune, always hold on to them. But now that I have Torrent, I'm going to, well, one, I'm gonna make it daytime. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explore the upper version of Wingrave. So let's go over here to the Murkwater Coast. That'll make it a bit easier for the explorations. Especially since I want to reach a castle. But the first thing I want to do is I want to make it daytime. It's very dangerous to be running around at night, since some of the normal enemies will be replaced with bosses at nightfall, so keep it at daytime. And Torrent is very useful for here. As Melina said, he can traverse great distances, he is very fast. Down here is the Murkwater Coast. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a dungeon that's down here. It's a catacomb. I'm guessing one of those slime monsters killed me. Not the end of the world. At least I have the Murkwater Catacomb race. I lost like 2,000 runes there. Not the end of the world, I can easily farm that amount back up. More than anything, that was just awkward. Oh well. Nothing. Oh, it's because I went the wrong way. Well, anyway, I want to use this as a golden opportunity to make my way over to Fort Height. Just use the Spirit Spring here to jump up. And you can use it to reach this section here, the, Painter Shack. Here you get the Homing Instinct painting. Over here's a Grace. And I believe close to here there's a body with some upgrade materials on it. And yeah, this is very good if you want to reach the rest of the Mistwood and if you want to reach Fort Height. But for right now, I just want to make my way over to the Weeping Peninsula. There's a weapon back there that I want to get behind that circular altar on the hill. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take out the demi-humans and the Godric soldiers here. There's also a camp here that somebody abandoned. That body has a sliver of meat that you can use for crafting. Don't worry, it explicitly says that's animal meat, so you don't have to worry about... The description said that it's explicitly even... I'll read the description for a sliver of meat later, but I think it explicitly says that it's meat from common livestock. So you're not performing cannibalism, or at least not yet. Godric Soldier's Grease, that's some pretty good equipment. And nothing off the demi-humans, but that's fine. I would recommend that you bring your arcane stat up to about 10, regardless of which class you're running, just because there's a very good buff that you can use that requires 10 arcane. And I want to go down this way. This also connects to the Weeping Peninsula. Weeping Peninsula has a good weapon there that I can get. It is a pretty good weapon. It's a... It's a hammer. There's also a hammer down here over by where those demi-humans are. They look kind of like hyenas. They look like a mix between a hyena and a chimp. Especially with their voices. But yeah, the item is right over here. The large club. Got some string, not exactly what I'm looking for, but that's fine. Let's hop onto Torrents, and let's use the Spirit Spring to jump up. And let's see if I can use it to cross over. Use Torrent's double jumps to your advantage. They make moving around a lot easier. There is an encampment here where you can get some pretty good stuff. Might as well go here and get it. Do I have any daggers I can use? Yes, but they're very few. I'll wait until after I do the Weeping Peninsula to get this camp. It's right over here on the main path. The camp is basically all around here. Where the hill that has those on that hill with the ruins. Good thing about Torrents is while he's running, he can immediately break those skulls that you would otherwise have to roll into in order to generate enough force to break. Okay. Soldier's Gauntlets, that's decent. The war pick that these soldiers drop is a decent hammer. I mean, it looks cool. It's not particularly powerful, though. This place is a good area to farm for that weapon, if you want. There is a much stronger hammer very close to here, though, with a arguably, or rather in many ways, it's objectively better than the war pick. But yeah, if you have torrents and you race across this bridge, that takes care of the majority of the threats in this area. This game really isn't designed for enemies on foot to be fighting enemies on horseback. So use that to your advantage. Use everything to your advantage. This game doesn't play fair, so why should you? Some more mushrooms. I might as well use those to make some fire bombs. There we go. Fire bombs are pretty good. They do fire damage, a pretty good amount of fire damage on top of it. Young woman here, you can talk to her if you want. He has a pretty cool quest.
Hello? Is somebody there? Might I bend your ear for a moment, please? My name is Irina. I've escaped from Castle Morn to the south. The servants there have rebelled. I can't be sure what it is. My eyesight's been weak since birth, you see. But I swear I heard frightful howling from all over. My good father secreted me out the castle, but decided himself to stay. He says it's his duty. As commander, I fear for father's life. The servants are full wrath, filled with hatred for every one of us. They've since come for every one of the companions I escaped with. They haven't spared a soul. I fear it's no different at Castle Morn. Please, I implore you, would you mind taking a letter to my father at the castle? My soul wishes that he escape, even if his honor should be the price. Please. I just want him to be safe.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Thank you. Dearly. Then please, take this.
She gives us her letter. It appears to be written on a silk handkerchief.
Deliver it to my father, who remains in the castle, if you please.
Okay. We could get some more flavor text from her if you want.
Please, if you wouldn't mind, deliver the letter to my father at the castle.
Wouldn't it be better
He
if she
can be
found
stubborn,
shelter somewhere?
but I'm sure he'll come around.
I feel like it would have been better if she had sought shelter somewhere, but whatever. I'll clear the majority of the mini dungeons in Windgrave before I go after Castle Morn. Tragically, the Ornamental sword isn't that useful when it comes to fighting dogs. It does have a critical modifier, though. Bolts, okay. So this has a very good weapon, the Morning Star. It's a hammer that natively has bleed on it. Probably gonna run with it for a bit. And these are those quote-unquote servants. They're a race of entities known as the Misbegotten. To me, they look like bird people. You can potentially get their cleaver off of them. They are rather aggressive. This area is a pretty good spot to farm for their equipment. So that beetle, that's silver beetle. They almost always have Ashes of War on them. This one is Mighty Shock. You can put it on any bow and it changes its ability to Mighty Shock, which is pretty good. So anyway, before I finish everything up here, I'm going to activate this grace and I'm going to get the map to the Weeping Peninsula. Not going to bother killing the golem that's at the castle because I want to, just out of curiosity, see if I can get the bow that he dropped as a normal drop. Don't worry though, this isn't the only enemy that has it. You can find golems at Stormvale Castle. At the bridge leading to the Sacred Tower, there are some golems there, and you can farm them for their equipment. Rest up with this grace again because I have the map to the area. Come on, need to rest up. And now I have the map for the Weeping Peninsula. Looks kind of like the country of Australia. What I like about this game is while you complete sections of it, the map slowly increases as you explore, which is pretty cool. Oh yeah, come next time I'll explore this part of Lingrave, these ruins here in this upper area, in the Mistwood. First thing I want to do is I want to
Buying or selling?
talk to this guy. He sells some pretty good armor. You can get armor that's quite similar to it from the Canaanites by just beating them constantly until you get it. I would recommend you do that. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna farm the Canaanites for their armor at the Murkwater Coast. Should be pretty simple using the Morning Star. They're right over here. You could dual wield 2 hammers, that's pretty good also. Good thing about the Morning Star is that it has bleed on it natively, so good way of doing bleed damage early on. Okay, I got his armor and a frozen raisin, that's good. Might as well equip it. It's a bit lighter than the armor I currently have, and it does look nice. This is my favorite suit of armor in the game. Might as well see if I can farm these guys for the entirety of their gear, though, but I'll do that off-screen. I don't remember where the grace is. It's over here. Okay. Yeah. There's also a pretty good weapon here. And if I go all the way over here, there's a cathedral, and near that cathedral is a series of spirit springs that I can use to jump up over to the village that's on this cliff face, and then I could travel over to this side. Could also travel from the gate front. Both of which are quite viable. I'll show that next time though. First, I'll travel through the gate front, and I'll show the alternate path from the cathedral. But yeah, that'll do it for this video. I'm gonna put on the end card, and to the one person watching this on Twitch, I hope you have a good day. Till next time.